Yeah.
You've been going to anime conventions like for so long. Do you have a favorite convention memory?
Too many. Way too many. I have so many. Today. No, listen to this, you guys. You're going to love this. I can't believe I almost forgot. I was signing this afternoon. And a girl came up and said, I have a gift for you. She started, kind of got teary, and she said, I have a gift for you. And she held this up, and she said, it's a brain cell. It was a plushie that had like little limbs on it, like roots. And apparently it was like a plushy brain cell, like a cute little kind of a cartoon brain cell. And I'm like, thank you. Does this mean I'm not smart enough? What does that mean? Why are you giving me a brain cell? And she said, she leaned in and she said, I wrote you last year and told you that I had a brain tumor and that I was going to have surgery. And you wrote me back this really long, encouraging email that you would pray for me and, you know, that God would be close to me and that, you know, that it would be all right. And she said, I'm here. And she said, I made it through. I got through it. And she said, I made it a point to drive a distance to give you this thing. And she said, and then I want you to write on this piece of paper a quote, and I'm going to have it tattooed on my arm. And I'm like, this is crazy. I do voices for cartoons. You know what I mean? This is crazy. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what I just was talking about. The chance to this is the entry level, you know, where you're voicing characters and you're doing stuff that people enjoy, you're making them laugh and you're making them cry. And then there's the next level where they reach out to you because they're scared about something they're going through or a family problem or a difficulty. And you're able to speak something into their lives that 100 other adults in their lives would never be able to do. But because they like Tamaki Suo from Oron or because they like Edward Elric, they'll hear you. They'll let you talk to them. And I was just blown away. I was hugging on this girl, and we were taking pictures, and I mean, just blown away. I have so many of those kind of memories from conventions. I would take up the entire time just telling you some amazing, significant memories, interactions with fans that have been so profound.
Okay. Kind of as an add-on to what they were talking about limitations and some of the stuff that you were doing. I was wondering, in a lot of anime, it seems like you get voice actors in, and they you can recognize them almost immediately, right? But then you get like other voice actors or other projects, or you get same voice actors going into other projects other than anime. It's like all of a sudden now they can actually start changing their voice. Like for example, Frank Welker. He comes in and you never know who the guy is. But I mean, you got the Freeman like the guy, but every time he goes into a role, it's him. Sure. Do you find that limitation?
That's a great question, and let me answer that as honestly as I can. There are a lot of voice actors who have very identifiable voices. They have a very unique sound to their voice. And for the most part, it doesn't matter what they do. You know it's them immediately. While I may be one of those, I've done an awful lot of shows, you guys. Probably a lot that a lot of you have never heard or seen. And there are a lot of characters that I've played that I have heard back from fans. I had no idea that was you. And these are people that try to pick my voice out in different shows. For the first many handfuls of episodes of Bleach, the fans didn't know that I was playing Ikaku. Because he's this kind of guy, And he's not Edward Elric. You see, the thing is that people, it's funny. People hear they hear shows that are really popular, and they hear the similarity. They're like, Edson sounds just like Tamaki, or Tamaki sounds just like Dark Mousy, or whatever. But what they don't realize is there are 100 other shows that just because they're not on television, they've not heard Or there may be shows that they're hearing and they don't know it's you, because they're looking for that certain tone. When you play a certain kind of a character, a certain voice is going to come out. Crispin Freeman has that rich, resonant tone, and he can do that, and he's known for that. And so when he gets cast in a role like that, there are only so many of those kind of voices that he can do without it sounding the same. And this is what I want to say about that. The goal in voice acting is never to change your voice. The goal is to play the character accurately and authentically. For instance, so here's what Edward Elric sounds like, right? He's kind of scrappy with a little bit of rasp and, hey Al, what's going on, right? Okay, I get cast to play another teenage, scrappy hero character, right? What's he going to sound like? You know what I mean? Like, is this better? I mean, what are you going to do, right? Should I make him sound like this? Because that'll annoy the crap out of you within about 10 minutes, right? You can't. So the point is, you don't just change your voice for the sake of sounding different. If the character warrants the change, sure. But the goal is never to change your voice. The goal is to play the character. So while you could take a line from Ed, you could pull a line from Tamaki, you could pull a line from Dark Mousy, you could pull a line from Kurtz Weber, Full Metal Panic, and put them all up against each other and go, oh yeah, that's the same guy. But if you watch the shows, the characters are very different. And that's the challenge, is to play the character, not to change your voice. And the example I always like to use is, pick a famous actor, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, right? They've played hundreds of characters, right? They always sound like Robert De Niro. He always sounds like Al Pacino, right? Because his goal is not to change his voice. His goal is to play this character. A lot of us do a lot of very interesting voices that are not immediately recognizable as us, but a lot of the fans don't know about them because they aren't on television or they aren't as popular as some of the other roles that they know us for. So I get that. Some fans sent me an email the other day and said, I was sticking up for you on a fan site because somebody said they hated you because all your characters always sound the same. Well, first of all, that's just a hurtful thing to say. I mean, why even say that, right? Who cares? But that's not the point. The point is, I can think of at least 10 shows that I've done where the character sounded nothing like any of the other roles I've ever played. They probably haven't seen those, and they're commenting on the 2 or 3 or 4 very popular shows that they have seen, and they're like, well, he sounds the same. Well, that's because the director didn't say, change your voice. The director wants you to play the role authentically. Does that make sense? So, I would love to have a voice that I could really twist it around and change it around. I don't really. Anybody that's seen Dragon Ball Z would never expect that Broly is Edward Elric. I mean, those are 2 very different kind of characters, and I've done several roles in other shows, but people are gonna have their opinions about that. That's the logic behind it, and some people sound the same, but they play the characters very well, and that's the bottom line. That's the main goal.
Oh, well, at this point, we actually have to wrap up now. So, thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Thank you, guys. I'm sorry if I talked too long, but I'm glad to be here, and thank you for your questions. Good weekend.